What's up, everybody? Nigeria Chambers here at San Diego Comic-Con representing Big Old Belt Media. I have a friend joining me today. We talk a lot in these spaces, and I think last night I was like, it's only right that you get in front of the camera and we get our audience acquainted with you and get to learn a lot more about the things that you are into. Sir, the Rebel, who you may know from her tenure at WoW as Razor, one of my favorite groups at the time, and I'll say that. But yeah, if you're still watching WoW, support them and whatnot. But
I don't
think
support them. Only support them when I was there.
the
The Psycho Sisters are gone. That's it.
That was definitely one of my favorite periods. No bias. Lauren's my homie too. But truly, just the character work and bringing something to the wrestling scene that we really haven't seen before. But nonetheless, how you doing?
I'm doing great, and that was great to hear because sometimes I forget.
Yeah.
But that was a really awesome time, and I love that I got to bring a character to life in such a way where I wasn't really told you can't do this, you can't do that.
Right.
They trusted me with that character, and so we were able to really do some fun stuff with the Psycho Sisters.
Yeah, and I felt like, for knowing you and knowing Lauren, there's just a sense of this feels a lot of your creative work. This wasn't something somebody just threw on you and you just I guess whatever. But it felt very genuine and true to personality, but creative as well.
It's funny. The only thing they threw on me was, "Oh, you have a shaved head, so you have to be this kind of character." They were like, "There's no way." And I'm like, "I can't be cute. I can't be the purple one.
Yeah.
I want to be Chantilly Cella's tag team partner." And they were like, "Absolutely not." But other than that, they really let me pull my own story into it as well because I grew up kind of lower income and fighting a lot in real life. And so they let me pull my actual story in. So I think that's what made it feel authentic, even though I do not listen to rock music or scary horror podcasts, whatever else you assume about me when you look at that character. I do not watch scary movies.
Yeah. I was such a bit the color contrast, the vignettes. It was just all very good.
Those vignettes were awesome.
Yeah.
They were fun to make too. They let us play around with those.
Yeah, so we kicked it last night. We was at the Blur and Bougie party. I wasn't expecting for you to show up today in cosplay, but who am I kidding? Of course. So why Chung Lee today? What was the decision behind?
So I was Chun last year too, but I did a goth version, and so I wanted to do a different version this year. Chun-Li just meant so much to me as a young gamer. There were not really that many female video game characters at first. When I first got into video games, I didn't even know Metroid was a lady character, by the way, because I was too young to, I wasn't on the internet, right? So everything I see, Mario and Sonic and Donkey Kong. And then there was, what was her name? Diddy Kong, the girl one with the ponytail. I didn't like her, though, because I didn't like the way she looked, you know what I'm saying? But so for me, Chun-Li was a really big deal. And she's always had a special place in my heart because I really like the Street Fighter animated movie.
Okay.
And when she says, "I'm the strongest woman in the world," and then she has this amazing fight with Vega in a hotel room. Yeah. And then afterwards, they're like, "She really is the strongest woman." And that meant something. I got goosebumps saying it again. Yeah. I love Chun-Li.
Are you looking forward to the new movie?
I'm always looking forward tentatively to video game based movies.
Yeah.
I can't think of one that really... Mortal Kombat comes the closest, but even still, even as a little kid when we weren't too concerned about stuff, looking at Raiden, looking at him in his face, be like, this is Raiden, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Somebody's old man father.
Yeah, isn't that the man for what's a head cut off movie?
Yeah.
They're immortal. Highlander. There we go. Yeah, I think that was the guy from Highlander, right? Yeah, that didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I was a big Street Fighter Alpha 2 fan, so this was one of my favorite iteration versions of Chun-Li. So yeah, dope. Thank you for spicing up the room today, bringing as you usually do that energy. So you are a person who's multifaceted, and I think what always draws me to you is you always got good stories, and we're not going to get into anything personal, but you always got good stories because you're world traveled. Pro wrestler, writer, model. If there's work to be done, you're out there doing it.
It's true, and it's a problem because people will be like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "What do I do?"
Yeah. And then from wrestling, on camera, but doing work off behind the scenes as well too. And even since the departure of WoW, you still are very much in the wrestling business. Although your Instagram says former pro wrestler. So what's the truth here?
The truth is, I would say I'm 98% retired.
Okay.
98%. So most of what I do at wrestling now is behind the scenes. So I was running the social media for All Caribbean Wrestling and then doing ring announcing with them at the latest show. For anyone that doesn't know, Mark Henry is the CEO there. I'm no longer running their social media for a little bit because I think they're gearing up for their next round of travel. But getting to travel and wrestle and work behind the scenes and to be trusted by folks like Mark Henry to, bring stuff to the table, especially with me. Like, I feel like I'm kind of untried and unproven as a ring announcer. I've done it a few times. But to have him tell me good job afterwards, I was like, thank you. All professional. I was like, thank you. And then I went to the back and I was like, like text my family about it. And then I have my own wrestling company that's more like we film wrestling. So it's like kind of like action figures, but wrestlers. And that's also fun because I get to pay my friends money, which is actually my dream. With how wrestlers are treated on the indie scene, like that has been my dream is I would like to pay people money. That's my fantasy. And so I'm living my dream.
You kind of said that in a way as if like, you know it very personally in terms of
I've been
the
paid a hot dog and a
promises.
handshake before.
Yeah.
I have literally been paid. I took 2 hot dogs and I put nacho cheese sauce on the hot dogs and I took all the chips they had too. Because how dare you give me a handshake as money? So yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to rant.
No, it's your story.
Yeah,
I want to make sure that is expressed correctly there.
It was a good nacho cheese hot dog, but it was not worth I actually got injured in that match too. So that's the biggest reason why I think it's wild that we don't pay people who are on the indie scene well. But it's also partially other wrestlers' faults because they'll accept that and they'll wrestle for cheap, and that drives the price down for everybody. So it is what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So Comic Cons, it seems to be a place that you have found your home because there's a lot of us out here, people who loves all sorts of different things, characters. But there's always this good energy, and I think there is such a community that outsiders sometimes don't understand. But like once you're in here and you see it, like see people of color, liking anime or just liking any types of pop culture, and or at times where you didn't really see that sort of representation, or you did see people who made fun of those type of people that did that type of stuff, feels very home here. And I say that to say because like for you, and you have, I think is the proper term mutt. Should I say?
I don't think that's a proper term.
but just somebody who just is as ethic as you could be.
Yeah, I'm real mixed. I'm real mixed up. My friend called us the biracial mafia last night. That was cracking me up. So it's very interesting. I've been coming to Comic-Con. I first came 15 years ago. And I don't come every single year, but I come pretty often. I think I had a little break. Yeah, around the pandemic time, I was like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
With how these crowds are. But every year before there were blurred specific events, we would find each other. And so Comic-Con for me was always about, and this is going to sound weird, but for me, it's always been about the parties and seeing my friends. And finding people from all over the world who were the same kind of nerd. Because there's an intersection, right? I'm not saying this to be exclusionary, but there are certain things that were not considered cool that we didn't do. And when we act like all nerds do this or all nerds like that, it's like Lord of the Rings. My friends were talking about it with my boyfriend at the time, who was black, and my friends are white, and they were like, yeah, blah, 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 Lord of the Rings. And when they found out he hadn't seen it, they kind of tried to give him shit. And he said, name a black character in that movie. And he just looked at them, and they looked at him, and they were like, and he actually helped them be better people because going forward, every game that guy DM'd and that every game that she DM'd as well, they would make sure to incorporate a multiracial and multifaceted environment from then on because it opened their eyes. But that's just one example of why I think we all tend to gravitate and find each other. And so the fact that there's now events like Blurred and Bougie is very exciting for me because it's like, I don't have to go hunting. I know exactly where my friends are. They're all going to be right here.
Yeah, true that. Man, facts. And actually, it's cool as it is. the folks who are very established in life, icons. Keep David being there last night. I still keep thinking like, man, Keep David's is in here just partying. Like, yeah, you take a look at us, and then like even them are coming up and saying
Right.
like, yeah, they want to be a part of that. And I think that is it's a really important thing, and I'm always excited to see that party pop up.
I was like, how funny is it? We're in a room where Lana from Archer and Zach from Power Rangers are both here right to the side of the dance floor while
Yeah.
we're hitting the electric slide. Like, that's an exciting place to be.
It is. It is. It is. All right. So, what can you talk about that you're working on, or where's your next adventure going?
So, I think I'm getting back into the writing world again soon, but nothing that I can announce what I'm doing. But in the meantime, if you would ever like to check out any of my books, they are all on Amazon. I've written Marvel's Agent Carter Season 1 Declassified. It was my first, and now my most recent is a book about the Goosebumps series from when we were growing up. It's a book about the covers and the cover art and how that all came to be. So check it out. But yeah, other than that, the social media thing, I do the social media for a cruise ship called the Joko Cruise, and it's like a big nerdy convention, but on a cruise ship.
Oh,
And yeah, so it's kind of my thing. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So I do that every year. And other than that, I'm just trying to make sure that I don't spend all my retirement money on Sims expansions. And you're laughing, but it's real. It's really real.
Yo, microtransactions is definitely the death of.
But I
most
need
of us
that
today.
outfit, and my
I know.
toddler needs that hairstyle.
Yeah.
And I need to be able to have a baby with the Grim Reaper. And now I need to be a fairy. So it just has to happen.
Oh man, sir. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you stopping by. Make sure you keep a update and eyes on her on the socials. We'll have that in the description below. So until next year, Comic Con, you
Yeah, I'll
better
see you.
stop through.
I'll be here.
You know where we gonna be at. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.